welcome to today's vlog. Today we're going to do something different. I'm going to take myself on a bookish date. As an avid reader myself, who's also a mom and makes time for my reading, I read 64 books in 2025 and we have a similar goal in 2026 because I genuinely love reading. I have so many good books that I'm excited to read this year, so I'll be like, let's get them in because they're so fun. Reading is fun. Today, I'm setting a pause my responsibilities and taking myself on a bookish date. What does that mean? That means I have my Kindle and I have a good book that I want to read ready to go. So we have, here's my baby, Kindle. I started reading The Perfect Sister by Desiree. And then today I want to start The Love Script by Toni Shiloh. This is a Black author. She writes Christian romance books, so this will be my first time dipping my toes into romance. I started back reading in December of 2024, and I have not read a single romance book. Well, I'm lying. In January, I did start a romance book, but I DNF'd at 40% because it was not giving the romance I was looking for. It wasn't giving love. It was giving lust. First half of the book, they were just friends with benefits kind of thing. And I know it's supposed to turn into like a beautiful romance story, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for wholesome love stories, no spice or low spice. So I did my due diligence, and you guys also gave me recommendations in my last Discipline Diaries vlog, which is my fitness series that I film on a weekly basis. I'm on a weight loss journey to lose a minimum of 100 pounds. So in my last Discipline Diaries, you guys gave me recommendations for romance books that were clean, little to no or low spice, Christian recommendations, and I appreciate that so much. I wrote a lot of them down, added them to my list, so I will be going through those as well because I love love. I love love, but in my adult life, I haven't connected with any romance book thus far, but I do not believe there's none that I can connect with. We're going to find some amazing books that feature love, wholesome love, that is exciting, thrilling, adult, but also, you know, not a little crazy, okay? That's just my preference. That's my preference. I won't yuck your yum. I started Perfect Sister, but that is a thriller, and I want to read a romance book today. I'm just feeling in this kind of mood. I'm excited to read this. Let's see what it's about. The Hollywood hairstylist Nevaeh Richards loves making those in the spotlight shine, but prefers the anonymity of staying behind her stylist chair when no one notices her. But when a photo of Nevaeh and Hollywood A-lister Lamont Booker goes viral for all the wrong reasons, her quiet life becomes a #1 trending topic. The silver screen's latest heartthrob, Lamont Booker's bold faith has gained him a platform, and the authenticity of his faith is well known until the tabloids cause the world to question everything he claims to be. With his reputation on the line, he finds himself hearing out his agent's push for a fake relationship, something he never thought he'd consider in a million years. A love that goes off script. With their careers at risk, Nevaeh and Lamont have to convince the world that their scripted romance is more than just an act. But when fake seems to turn into something real, can Nevaeh trust her heart in a world where nothing is ever as it seems? And some of the quotes on the back say, this fake relationship story is a must-read for fans of contemporary romance. Shiloh offers a sweet romance with a strong dose of spiritual truth. I am excited for this. I am excited for this. So, where are we going to eat? Let's figure that out. Thank you. You too. All right, change of plans. They are closing early today, and I'm trying to be in here for a little hour and a half. So, I just picked up my food. I'm just going to go find somewhere to eat. There's a library near here. I might eat in the car and then get out and read in the library. Piata, Italian street food. We have our carbonara pasta. This one is bigger than I got last time. I thought the size I got last time was regular, so when I ordered regular, but this is huge. I got a small when I had it before, not the regular. Here's the pasta. I got rigatoni noodles. It has spinach, tomatoes, bacon, crispy hot chicken, and cheese of some sort with Alfredo sauce, with the carbonara sauce, of course. We're gonna dig in. I'm gonna eat some of this right now, and then we're gonna go into the library and read. While I'm eating this, I'm also gonna go ahead and read The Perfect Sister by Desiree. It's easier for me to have this in my hand and click on it while I'm eating versus holding a book open, so I will save that book until we get in the library in a little bit. This book, this is going to be an interesting read. Let me tell you what the book is about before I get into where I'm at right now. There's kids behind my car. I think they're filming like a project or something, so you might hear them. Pandora Harris grew up in an inclusive community just outside of Atlanta, Georgia called the Black Women Separatists. They do not believe in men, sons, or any other race outside from their own. Pandora has never felt the need to question anything, not even the women who raised her, until her best friend in the community goes missing around her 30th birthday. Pandora is bravely ready to risk it all when she decides to break out of the community in search of her best friend, but ends up with more than she can handle. Kaylin Jones is a no-nonsense detective in Atlanta who was recently placed on leave after being on a task force that deals with one of the most dangerous cults in the South, Black women separatists. His traumatic connection with the cult is a direct result of his mother giving him away just because he was born male. 30 years later, he gets a call from a woman who is in search of her daughter, who she believes is alive and wants help in finding her. The perfect sister who has never laid eyes on a male, and an irate male who struggles to trust women enough to let his guard down. The craziest twists and turns happen when these two cross paths in Atlanta on a Friday night that leads to them realizing they're connected in more ways than not. I'm only 31 pages in, so far, you know, the detective, he's just contemplating whether he wants to help the woman find her daughter or not. And I just got to the main female character who grew up in the Black women separatists, and it's just showing basically what life is like. She's in the maternity ward of the hospital, if you can call it that, and a woman just gave birth to a boy, and they're basically showing what happens whenever that happens. And I'm like, this is wild. I'm gonna read you this quote. The woman said, "What are you doing to my baby? What are you going to do?" And they told her, "Little boys grow up to become violent males that assault and harm women. He may be innocent now, but it's still inside of him. You're making the ultimate sacrifice as a mother, but now we know your body is able and willing. You won't become a true mother until you give birth to the high gender. We'll try again for a girl in a few weeks." What? We'll try again in a few weeks. Definitely interested to see where this book is going, because I haven't read a book like this ever. This is an interesting concept. Cult involvement, a Black women's cult at that. She's never been around males before. So she breaks out, goes to the city to find her friend who's missing. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. What an interesting storyline. Ooh, I'm excited to get back into this. Yeah, I barely ate and I'm full, so I'm full. I'm done with it for now. I will save the rest for dinner, but we're gonna go in this library and see if we can find any other books to read. We are back in the car. First, I went through all the romance books and everything while I was there, but I didn't end up picking any. Stuck to my roots. I got a random thriller book, Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. I read her A Flicker in the Dark before, but I got this as well. We're not even going to be reading this month because I'm only reading Black authors or romance, but I went ahead and got it because I'll still have it when the new month comes. Then I got a bunch of books for my daughter. I just got some library books for her. Let me get into the real important tea. The love script. I am only 3 chapters in, and I'm already loving the writing because I'm picking up on so many biblical truths that don't have to be explicitly stated. That's what I was looking for. I didn't want a corny Christian romance, and Lord forgive me for saying that, but I didn't want a corny romance where it's like, oh, he's cute, but let me not think of that because the Lord said. I didn't want it to be that kind of vibe, which I don't even know if books like that exist, but that's the prejudice that I had about Christian romance books. This writing is so good. I wrote down some notes because I have ADHD, child. When I'm finished reading, I be forgetting stuff, okay? So I'm going to be a note taker. I want to talk about these books with y'all. The main character, Neve, she is the hairstylist, and this is Lamont Booker. He's an actor. He's in Hollywood. He's a celebrity. And she is the hairstylist for his mother, who previously had cancer. The book starts out with her going over to Miss Rosie, that's his mom, going over to his house to see Miss Rosie and do her hair. And Miss Rosie's like, oh, I forgot to cancel my appointment. I'm sick today, so you don't have to do it. So she's sick. Neve was worried, so she was like, okay, well, I don't have to do your hair, but I at least want to cook you some soup. And she cooked and cleaned up and all that. And then Lamont came in and saw her. She described him as like brooding and towering over her, kind of. So she definitely see that he's a man. He's a hunk of meat. She was like, hey, you don't have to pay me because I didn't do her hair today. All I did was come here and cook. And he's like, no, I still want to help you. I want to pay you for helping out. And her words were, let me find it. I don't charge people for helping them. That's just wrong. Besides, the whole point of helping is doing without expecting something in return. I'm like, biblical truth. Doing without expecting anything in return just because you know your reward is in heaven. It'll come back to you as the Lord sees fit. Another thing that I picked up was the importance of equally yoked friendships. So whenever Lamont found out that his mom was sick, her mom saying it's a stomach bug, he's already like, you know, getting a little worried, getting a little anxious because he knows that she had a cancer before. I don't know if it said what type of cancer she had, but he knows that she had a cancer before. So he gets a little anxious. He's searching stomach cancer symptoms. He got all this money, so he was able to call the doctor. They can come do a house call. Like, he was like, one of the benefits of, you know, being famous or whatever, when he calls them, appointments are moved around and they just went ahead and they're going to do a house appointment for him. But then after he's worried about her possibly having stomach cancer, he's talking about, why couldn't they make the doctor get here any faster? What good was money if people didn't bow to the demands of it? And then he caught himself, started thinking and praying to himself, sorry, Lord, that was extremely entitled and obviously a mark against my faith and trusting in you. I promise, I know you heal. After all, my mom has been healed from breast cancer. But he's like, I'm just worried, please let it be a stomach bug. He texted in his group chat with his homeboys. He said, she claims it's a stomach bug. I'm about to sit down and pray, that's all it is. And his friends say, I'll echo your prayer. Likewise, man. He's like, thanks, fellas. I'll echo your prayer. That is the importance of equally yoked friendships. You can go to them with concerns, not to just vent and to spill, but to also get someone who can touch and agree with you and echo your prayer with God. And y'all can all pray together over the same situation. That's why equally yoked friendships are good. If he would have texted that to the wrong people and they just be like, it'll be okay, we're sure it's just a stomach bug, don't worry about it, don't stress. No, partner in prayer with me. Pray this thing out with me. Touch and agree. And pray with me over this thing. So that's just a small tidbit, small thing to pick up on, but I love that was so quickly, you know, shown the importance of community, to where when you have situations like this, when you see your mind is going to anxiety and to worry, all you have to do is say what's going on to your friends. I echo your prayer. Amen. I'm excited for this book. I'm so excited. I've never been excited for a romance ever, and I'm actually very excited to read this. Like, really excited. Yeah, those are the two books we're reading this week. We got one thriller, one romance. Both of them are not my usual type of reads. This is a different take on thriller, cult vibes. I'm excited for that one, and I'm also just equally excited for the love script. All right, hey, hi, hello. It is the next day. It's Monday. They're doing construction outside, so I apologize if you can barely hear me. I'm on a lunch break from work. I do work from home, and I'm about to get in bed and read some of The Perfect Sister until I fall asleep. I'm pretty sure I will fall asleep. I'm really tired right now. Really tired right now. I already have my alarm set so I can wake up at the right time to get back to work. But for now, let's get in bed and let's read. I have been waiting all day to get back into this book. Because yesterday I was so sleepy, I read a little bit and then I took a nap. But it's my lunch break. I'm about to read. I have about 30 minutes left in my lunch break, so I'm going to read I'm so excited to get into this because this story is honestly so interesting and so fun. Listening to Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers using my Spotify subscription. That is not a Black author, but it is a romance. And what I'm reading for the month of February are either Black authors, any type of genre, but the only ones I'm interested in right now are thriller and romance, or romance books in general that are Christian romance books or light to no spice romance books. That's the bag I'm in right now. So let's get to reading. I'm excited. My lunch break ended. I wrapped up work right on this couch. It's back to reading. My daughter's still taking her nap, so we're gonna read until she gets up, and then it's back to mommy mode. Y'all, I'm about to head to the library. I'm gonna go return a bunch of my daughter's books that I got for her. I keep a rotating book basket for her where I go get a set of books for the week. We'll keep them for 2-3 weeks, however long, and then I'll go refresh it and get all new books. I started that tradition a few months ago where I just keep her books on refresh. And then for myself, I'm going to turn in King of Ashes. I read this month in February. Great book. Great book. I actually just got All the Sinners Bleed from another library yesterday, so that's now on my bookshelf to read hopefully this month. If not, I'll push it to whenever. It's likely going to auto renew after 3 weeks anyway, so we'll have that one until we read it. I'm also going to return Alice Feeney's Good Bad Girl. No reason, I just don't see myself reading it right now. I'm going to bring it back to the library, and whenever I want to read it, I will get it back. And that's another reason why I just enjoy getting books from the library instead of buying every book that I get sparked to read, because there's many times where I get sparked to read a new book and I'll go get it from the library and it sits on the bookshelf for the whole time that I have it. Three weeks, it's renewed 3 or 4 times, still haven't read it, and it's like, okay, I can just go bring it back and get it another time, versus going out and doing a whole book haul, buying a bunch of books, letting them sit and just building up 100 books of TBR where I keep buying more books and still not reading what's on my shelf. I'd rather go bring these back and get something else. And if I don't want to read those, bring them back and get something else. I love that. I may be in the library like, oh, I can't wait to read this, but when I get home, I end up reading something else and never getting to it. I don't want that money to just sit on a bookshelf and sit on the bookshelf and stare at me and sit on the bookshelf and stare at me. So I like changing books out. That's how I keep reading, a fun but inexpensive hobby. Use my library, I use my Kindle Unlimited, and then the last option is to buy it. Now, while we're in the library today, I'm gonna go ahead and finish The Perfect Sister. This story is really good. I really like it. The only reason I'm not done is because I haven't had a whole lot of reading time this past week. This past week, I was trying to do a whole bunch of work for work because I knew I'm gonna be off for several days. That's the only reason this book isn't done. This is a book you really could read in one sitting, to be honest. If I was really just reading for 3-4 hours, I would be done with this already. I really would. I'm at 70%. I'm going to finish this in the library today, and I'm also going to look around and see if there's anything else I want to get. Let's go ahead and go to this library, turn these in. I'm going to finish this book first, and then I will look around and see if there's anything I want to get. Y'all, I just finished this book, and so first, I didn't even get any books out of there. I didn't check anything out because by the time I finished reading and was strolling around, they were announcing the closing and all that, and I didn't feel like rushing to find something. And also, I don't think there's anything that I want right now in physical book form, so I just like being in that environment, and I like the act of flipping through books and seeing what things are about and taking mental note of what I want to read later. Right now, I think I have all the books that I need for a minute. Perfect Sister by Desiree. This is my first 5-star read of the year. It is. It's my first 5-star read of 2026. Yup. But let me say this. In the beginning, for a while, I was struggling with the multiple POVs. It is a lot of characters telling their story from their point of view, and I had to constantly remember, okay, who's this person? What's their background? Who's speaking? I'm like reading through the chapter, and I'm like, wait, who's speaking again? To click back to see, okay, who is talking? And then I'd be like, okay, this is so-and-so is talking. It was so much to where I have a whole note in my phone called The Perfect Sister where I was taking notes of, okay, Andera is this person, Sarai is this person, Danielle is this person, Raven is this. I had to take notes of who's who, so I just had to keep up with that. But Desiree, she did a really good job of world building, her building the world and bringing it to your reality and giving the details needed to understand what's going on. I could visualize what life behind the wall or in that cult looks like because she did an amazing job with that. She really did. The way they had all these different POVs going on and everybody's individual story, I could see this as a TV show. I could see it as a show because you know how in shows they'll have that side character that has a whole storyline going on separate from the main, and sometimes it goes a little too far and I'm come on, bring it back to the main story. We don't care about this. With this, I'm genuinely invested in every single person's story. It wasn't a time where I'm okay, I don't want to hear about her anymore. Get back to Pandora. No, I was invested in everyone's story. If not by the end, I was invested with Raven's story, which is one of Pandora's friends. Each character had their story, and I was just locked in with. They all had equal weight for me. Thought the story was gonna solely be more focused on the main characters, which would be Kaylin and Pandora, but it veered off a lot, especially towards the end. I feel they were not even. Pandora little situation she had going on wasn't even important. I was over here with Raven. Raven, what you got going on over here? What's going on? Yeah, it was a lot. And had the second book not been out when I'm reading this, I would be livid. You hear me? I would be livid if the second book wasn't already out and I read this first one and had to wait months, years even. I don't know how long it was apart, but if I had to wait all that time for the second one to come out, I would have been at Desiree's doorstep. Girl, where's the rest of the story? Where's going on? You can't leave us on a cliff like that. Where's the rest of the story, ma'am? Can you please, what's next? Because by the end, my jaw was on the floor. My jaw was on the floor. When details came out about the cult, the black women separatists and what they got going on and how they're running and all this stuff, the whole story is about one of Pandora's friends going missing. So she goes out into the world to figure out what's going on with her friend. They haven't found that out yet. They didn't even get there. They're not even nowhere close to finding out what happened to her friend. But it jumped back to someone who does know what's going on and told their perspective of what they saw happen to her. And seeing that, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what's going on? Y'all got some foolishness going on with y'all. Y'all got some foolishness going on with y'all. Do you hear me? I'm so excited to read the second book, but I'm mad because I need to finish my other books too. I need to finish these two first before I get into that second one. Cut the cameras on everything else I had ready to read February. If I can finish The Love Script by Tony Shiloh that I started with y'all, and then finish so I'm also listening to Redeeming Love's audio, and I have the physical book as well. I'm going back and forth between those two, audio, physical. I'm listening to it a lot when I'm in the car or in the gym, and then when I'm home, I'm able to read it. But Redeeming Love, I'm 55% in. And The Love Script, I only read the first 3 chapters with y'all the other day, and I haven't been back on that because I've been on Perfect Sister. If I can finish both those by Tuesday, I need to read book 2 now, expeditiously. I need to read it expeditiously because I need to know what is going on. Finished The Love Script today. This was a good book. This was a good book, and I will certainly read her other 2 books that are in this series. I think the other ones feature different couples, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost positive it features different couples. But this was such a cute, a wholesome, a good book. the amount of biblical truths that she really fills it with is beautiful. So many real life scenarios that touch on realistic topics that Christians go through. Like time after time after time after time, there's so many themes in here that I'm like, yeah, this is believable. This is a believable story. Characters did things wrong, did things right, did some good, did some bad. Like they went through different things, and it showed you some of the wrong ways and then how to fix it and the right ways. And it was just a good book. It really was a good read. Some of the things that I liked as far as the topics that it touched on were the common topic of whether you have to go to church or don't have to go to church. The main character was also plus size, so she touched on a lot of things that she was experiencing being a hairstylist in Hollywood, in that area, in that environment as a plus size Black woman. That was good. It's like relatable, retweet. Again, the equally yoked concept was so prevalent throughout with friendships, with relationships, with so many situations, the importance of being equally yoked and also being open and willing to be sharpened by somebody else, like being willing to hear someone else and be sharpened by them and maybe take inspiration from their life and see, you know what? Yeah, that is how we're supposed to live and different things like that, and seeking wise counsel. One of the real big things that I liked about it is it touched on boundary setting in Christian dating. Not just we don't talk about sex, we don't talk about this, we don't talk about that because no, blessed and highly favored, we are holy. You need to talk about it and set some boundaries around it. You know yourself and your humanity. You know your fleshly desires. So there needs to be a conversation with any potential or dating partner as, hey, here's our boundaries. This is our boundaries as far as physicality. This is how we go on dates. This is what we do. This is what we don't do. We don't go in these environments. We don't do this. It needs to be discussed up front and candidly, or else it'd be ending up in a situation of one thing just led to another, or one thing just led to another. There needs to be a clear conversation about this is where we are. This is what we desire to do. And here's our boundaries around it. So that way, in tempting situations, one of y'all can say something and be like, hey, we said we was going. Hey, hold up now. All in all, this was a good, solid Christian romance read. I like how it showed mistake making, but also the proper way to go about things, repenting, making things right, all of that. I would certainly recommend this to anyone who's looking for a Christian romance book. Absolutely. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Now, granted, this is my first toe dip into romance, so I don't know if I'm the most credible person when it comes to, oh, this is a great romance story. But it felt good. It had a very common trope that I see, the fake dating trope. So that always feels like a very typical played out type of storyline of we pretend we're dating and then we actually like each other and now we're really dating. But it was a good story. It was a good story. It was good enough for me to want to read her other ones in this series, which again, I think those are different characters completely. But I will certainly be reading the other ones because it was a wholesome read. I don't really have any complaints. I think that's going to wrap up this reading vlog. We read 2 books this week, The Perfect Sister and Love in the Spotlight. And we're going to close out this video here. I don't know how often I'll film these, just whenever I feel like, hey, this is something I want to read with you guys and talk about and share. No schedule, no set anything. I just want to try something new on my channel because I do love a good book. I love a good book. I love to talk about books, and I figured, why not? Someone's gonna watch it. If nobody does, that's okay. I'm gonna watch it myself. It'll just be me, party of one. That's fine by me. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Tune into my regular weekly series known as Discipline Diaries. On that series, I'm determined to lose at least 100 pounds and enter into my 30s in the best health of my life. We're gonna get there by determination, grit, discipline, consistency, faith, and trusting in God. In Jesus' name, amen. I will see y'all on Friday for another episode of Discipline Diaries. Peace.